Cognitive dissonance happens when our brain feels uncomfortable because our actions don't match up with our thoughts. So we end up thinking one thing and doing another, which makes us feel uncomfortable. So then our brain has to make up for it by making everything match up, acting as a coping mechanism for the dissonance between the thoughts and the actions. For an example, let's say you've been saving up to get a new toy. At the store, you see two options of what you could buy, a toy truck or a toy dinosaur. Excited about both options, you end up deciding to buy the toy truck. But afterwards, you say, the dinosaur wasn't that cool anyway, even though you were really excited about it before. This is a clear example of cognitive dissonance in action. You liked the dinosaur toy but ended up choosing the truck, which didn't match up with your earlier thought. When the action doesn't match up with the thought that you believe is right, your brain needs to change the way that you think about the dinosaur, saying that it wasn't that cool anyway, making you feel better overall about picking the truck.
A cognitive model is like a map that shows how our thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected. It helps us understand why we feel certain emotions in different situations. One model that explains this is called the circumplex model of affect. Imagine a big circle divided into 4 parts. On one line, going side to side, we have feelings that are happy and positive on one end, and feelings that are sad or angry on the other. Now picture another line going up and down. At the top, we have feelings with lots of energy, like being super excited or nervous, and at the bottom, we have calmer feelings, like being relaxed or sleepy. This model is like a way of placing our emotions on the circle based on how we feel.
When we experience cognitive dissonance, our feelings jump all around, sort of like in the shape of a circle. Cognitive dissonance happens when our actions don't align with our beliefs or our values, which creates a tension that makes us feel uncomfortable. So let's use an example. Suppose you told yourself that you would take the trash out at 10 a.m., but instead you got caught up watching your favorite TV show in the morning. So this creates some kind of inner conflict that you're feeling because your actions don't match your intentions, and you start to believe that you're not as responsible as you think you might be. This is sort of related to high energy negative feelings like guilt and frustration that would be in the top left part of the circular model. Your brain doesn't like staying here in this top left part of the model, so it tries to resolve itself and go to a more calm part of the circle. In the calm part of the circle, that's in the bottom right of the model, you'll start to feel more calm and more positive emotions. But in order to get your brain to move to this part of the circle, you'll have to tell yourself things like, the trash didn't need to be taken out anyway, or you can always do it later. By reframing the situation, you create a sort of balance. This all matters to us because us as humans are wired to seek this sort of harmony in our actions. This tension pushes us to change our beliefs so we feel better about ourselves. We may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's our brain's way of nudging us to basically feel better about ourselves.
Cognitive dissonance involves specific areas of the brain, particularly the anterior cingulate cortex or the ACC. This part of the brain acts as an error detector. When our actions and beliefs don't align, the ACC sends a signal that something feels off. The ACC works closely with the frontal lobe, which helps us plan and make decisions. When the ACC notices a conflict, it flags it for the frontal lobe to resolve. For example, if you say you'll do the homework but end up playing video games instead, the ACC lights up and makes you feel uncomfortable. That discomfort drives you to either change your actions or adjust your thoughts to resolve the conflict. This process is crucial for keeping us consistent and focused on our goals. Without it, we might not even notice when our actions don't match our beliefs.
When someone's actions don't match their thoughts, like regularly eating sugary foods when they have a history of cavities, the ACC notices this and sends a signal saying that this doesn't quite feel right. The signal makes the person feel uncomfortable because despite them really wanting to eat sweets, they know that they will likely get a cavity. Even though they know the solution to not getting cavities is to minimize their sugar consumption, they might still be overwhelmingly tempted to eat sweets. Instead of making a significant change to avoid getting cavities, they might buy candy with less sugar or convince themselves that they deserve to treat themselves with a sugary treat. This is the brain's way of keeping everything on track and avoiding discomfort. The discomfort felt is very normal, and it comes from a place of wanting to improve our habits and align our actions with our beliefs. So much of what we do is grounded in our beliefs and morals, so we want our actions to reflect what we believe is right. We might try to patch the gap until the discomfort is minimized, rather than making impactful decisions. So, next time you feel a discrepancy between your actions and thoughts, you can turn it into a beneficial decision making moment. Stop and think. It's okay to change your mind or try to make a better choice.